I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy. Do you want to improve the cooling on your BMW G80 Series M car? I'll show you how. All right, y'all, so let's talk about this project a little bit and the reasons why you're going to want to do this yourself. Now, these are the CSF auxiliary coolers that I've gotten through Kies Motorsports. These are a fantastic upgrade in a couple of different ways. Now, this project is going to work exactly the same on the M2, M3, or M4. We all have the same parts. And how to replace these is exactly the same. Now, first of all, maybe you live in a hot climate, or you track your car a lot. Keeping your engine temps down is really important, and upgraded auxiliary coolers is a great way to do that. In addition to that, if you can see, these have built-in screens. Our G80 cars are absolute rock magnets that come up through our front grills and beat your radiators to death. So I highly recommend screens. And the nice thing about these is these come with them. So these are going to help protect your existing radiators once you put these into place. When we take the OEM ones out, we'll take a look, and I'm willing to bet we're going to see some rock hits. So the very first thing we're going to do is we've got to get the car up in the air. We're going to take our wheels off, so loosen the lugs on your wheels first. So that takes a 17 millimeter wheel socket that you can loosen up those lugs and then get the car in the air. Now, I'm going to be using my RoadTech power jack today. Fantastic tool, but I'm always going to say this when we put our car in the air. Please be careful. If you're using jacks, make sure to use a jack stand. You can use quick jacks as well, but get the car up in the air and do it in a safe fashion. Don't bet your life on a 50-cent part, all right? So I'm gonna loosen my lugs, get the wheel off, and I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do next. Okay, so once you have the wheel safely off, we're gonna pull the fender liner. So there's a whole series of 10 millimeter screws all around the perimeter, over there, back in the corner, back along the top, and then pull your whole fender liner out so we can see the exposed radiator right here. All right, so once we have the fender liner off, we get really a good look of what we mean about the protection involved. Can you see the amount of gravel and rocks I've got in here? Now, keep in mind, I have my fender liners off much more regularly than the average person, and I clean this out. So if you look at the amount of debris that's up in here, our cars just suck up rocks. Also, look at the bottom of the radiator here, and look at the amount of rocks that have come through. Now, that's also coming off on this side of the wheel, going through the vent slats, which I recently upgraded to protective screens as well. But you can tell the level of beating that this radiator takes. Now, front and rear. Now, I've got a 5-gallon bucket because we've got two hoses. We've got one right here and one right here. They have the little horseshoe retaining clips. You're gonna wanna take a hooked pick tool, pull the little clip back, and then just pop this hose off. You're gonna get coolant, so make sure to collect it in a safe fashion. Coolant is toxic and will kill your pets, so don't let it. So make sure that you drain effectively into something and dispose of it effectively as well. So let me pull that, I'll show you what that looks like, and we're gonna pull both top and bottom to start getting this out. Now keep in mind the bottom hose doesn't go very far, so I'm gonna probably have the bucket over here because it's gonna be running down my plastics and out. But let me pull the top one and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I've pulled the retaining clip on the top hose. Now, be careful with these because they get crusty. They usually will just set about halfway out. As you can tell, I've got it in my hand. So they can pull off completely. Don't worry about it if it does, because we can put it back on really, really safely. Do not lose this because this is a hard thing to replace. You can't buy these little wire hooks separately. So don't lose this or let it fall into your bucket or something otherwise, right? So now that that's loose, let's go ahead and get this loose. And we're definitely gonna get some coolant here as this comes off. So we'll get this to settle off here, just like that. Now this side I can help guide into the bucket. I've got some draining out of the radiator itself. So we'll get this all cleaned up. I'll pull the bottom one next. Same thing, we're gonna get coolant out of it. Make sure that you collect it and it doesn't go all over. All right, so I've pulled the retaining clip. It came off on the bottom one as well. The upper hose, I've kind of tipped upwards. I wanna lose the least amount of coolant possible. I've pulled the clip on the bottom one. That one came off as well, but make sure to snap them back into place so you don't lose them. So the bottom one is loosened up. So let's get this to come off here. And again, we're gonna get a fair amount of coolant on this one as well. Just like that. All right, and I'm going to clean out my my plastic tray here when I'm done. This is also why you can't reuse the coolant. If you thought about that, look, if I get it out cleanly, can I just reuse the coolant? No. First of all, that's not worth it. Second of all, look at the amount of dirt and rocks and stuff I'm getting out of here. The coolant down there is no longer green. It's kind of a cloudy brown green. Okay, so once that's done, this is really easy to take out. There is two 13mm bolts here and here. Take both those out on this frame. Take this 10mm screw out right here, and then the whole radiator will come out. Make sure as you take it out, you realize you're going to drain some more coolant as this tips, because it's on little feet that sit down here at the bottom. So you're going to tip it out and pull it off those feet. All right, so go ahead and take this out, and we'll take a look at how much damage I've taken on the front side as well. All right, it's out. This is also a great opportunity to clean out any debris you might have picked up. I had a paper towel all wrapped up in here. Don't ask me how. Lots of leaves and other garbage, so I've done a little bit of cleaning here. And let's look at the front face of this radiator. Now, BMW now is providing a plastic guard that goes over the top, but you can see the vein damage and the other stuff that's gotten through. Look at the amount of garbage that's gotten through that guard. It's really pretty amazing when it comes down to it. Okay, so make sure that this drains off well. I'm getting the rest of the coolant out of this. Let's go grab one of our new CSF upgraded radiators. All right, so with the new radiator, it only goes in the same orientation, right? So the input ports on the engine side, it's going to be the reverse on the other side, which we'll talk about in a second. But then you just take the bracket off the existing. It's going to go on top of these feet here, right on top. These rubber grommets just going through on the posts, really nice and easily like that. And then you're just going to rock it right back into place. There's feet here on the bottom, so you're going to put those feet posts into place really, really easily. Just slide them in on the grommets right there, and then lean it up. That 10mm goes in right there, where that yellow line is. And then just snug it down easy. The 13mm don't have to go in hard, just snug them down, and then you'll have the new radiator in place. So let's get that done. Let's get it up in place and see what it looks like. All right, so the new radiator is in place. It's super, super simple. This is a great opportunity that if you wanted to clean some of the trays out and that sort of thing, get rid of any leftover radiator fluid, anything like that, any of the gravel and mess, this is a good time to do it. Now you can just snap your hoses back on. Make sure that your wire retaining clip is in the out position, not the, the unlocked position, and then just press this up into place. You should hear a nice click. Press the wire retaining clip back in place. I always pull on them to make sure that they're set, but if it clicks, you're in place. So go ahead and do top and bottom. It really is this simple. Next thing we're going to do is we'll put the fender liner back on and then go do the other side. I'm only going to show one side because it's exactly identical on the other side. You don't have to duplicate the work. All right, so go ahead and walk through this. Make sure that your bolts are snug down, your screw is down in tight. Just hand snug is fine. Your hoses are snapped back into place and secure, and then put your fender liner back on. I'll show you what that looks like just to be thorough when it's done, and then go do the other side. All right, all the 10mm are in, fender liner is in and done, looks good. I usually just take those 10mm and I just hand thread them because they're easier to get in by hand. And then I've got a great impact wrench. I love my DeWalt impact wrench. I just set it on low and just cinch down all of the screws. It's really easy. Takes a lot of the effort out of it, saves energy. You don't get as tired doing car work. So all good to go here. So now you're going to want to rehang your wheel. So put your wheel back on, snug down your lugs in a star pattern, and I mean just hand snug, in a star pattern across. And then when you put it back on the ground, when you're done on the other side, and you'll torque down both wheels at the same time. It's 140 Newton meters with a torque wrench. But put your wheel back on, star pattern, and then we'll torque them when they're on the ground. So go ahead and go do the other side. Once that's done, we'll talk about arguably the most important, the second most important thing you have to do in this process, which is going to be bleeding your radiator system. But I'm going to go get my other side done first. You should go do so too. And then let's talk about how to bleed the radiator. All right, so the wheel lugs on both sides are torqued down to 140 Newton meters. And so now what we need to do is bleed the system. That is really important. Now, in my case, I'm going to have an additional step. I'm going to have to take my strut bar off because I can't get my cap off without hitting my strut bar. If you have the OEM bars, you're not going to have that problem. So you're going to want to open your overflow reservoir cap off and fill it back up to maximum. Because think of the amount of coolant you just took out. Think of the amount of air that is in both of those new radiators on both sides, right? So we're going to have to bleed those out. Now, the bleeding process It's not hard. There's two different ways of doing it. You can get a vacuum bleed if you have an air compressor, you have the right adapter. That is the proper way to do this. That is the professional way of doing it. And that will triple check to make sure you've got no air in the system whatsoever. Now, if you don't have that, the car can do it for you itself, which is really, really nice. So you're gonna wanna fill up your overflow reservoir here, and then check the video comments. I will have every single step that you will need to do laid out in the comments of the video, because you have to turn the ignition on, you're gonna have to hold the accelerator down, you gotta have the fan at the right setting and so on. I wanna make sure you have those right, so they're all written down in the video comments. Okay, so I'm gonna do that myself. I'm gonna use the bleed process of the car to walk through the whole process. You're also going to want to have a trickle charger, which I'm going to connect here as well to make sure, because the process can take as much as half an hour as you run the cycle several times to get all the air out of the system. The short version is, on the trickle charger, you're going to initiate that process. It runs from anywhere to between 10 and 12 minutes. Once this is full, you'll hear your water pump running. When that comes off, you come back and check again. If it's low, top it off, do it again. I run that process enough times until this is no longer low, then we know we're good. All right, so check the video comments to make sure you've got a detailed list of exactly how to do it, get that done, and then this project will be complete. All right, so just as a note here that it's working, depending on the build of your iDrive and the rest, when I set this up, mine actually says service function started on my main display, and if you listen really closely, you can hear it running. So I'm going to repeat this again and again and again until I don't have any additional volume missing from my overflow tank. It should be at maximum. So I'll run it one time, or I'll run it 3 times, just whatever it needs to make sure that that's topped off. All right, y'all, all done. So make sure to take your time in the bleeding of the system. So I ran the self-bleed on the car 3 separate times. The first time it dropped really significantly. The second time, barely. The third time, really not at all. So I ran it 3 separate times, but then I also started the car with everything opened up so I could get to that overflow reservoir. And I noticed when I started the car, it dropped a fair amount again. So I topped it off, ran the self-bleed system again, and then that time it didn't seem to drop any at all. So it's just something to be really extra thorough about, especially in my case where I have to take my strut bar off to get to that reservoir. So make sure you get all the air out of the system. Other than that, this is not a hard project at all. It only takes a few simple tools. And it really is a significant advantage over OEM. OEM has that metal crimped into plastic radiator design that I just don't understand why BMW does it. Under high pressure, those edges can leak. It really can cause a problem. This is a great way to get better functionality, to better protect those radiators, and really do a real-world upgrade on your car. So I'm really grateful to Kies Motorsports and CSF for such a great product. And as you can tell, this isn't a hard install. Please make sure to click like and subscribe. It makes a genuine difference to my channel, and I would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on my next video.